I got it. Oh. Yeah. Oh, it's Friday. Hi, everyone. I'm Natalie of SoHungryHippie.com. Thanks for being here. Today, I have a couple of things. Actually, I need to take these off for a sec. I have a couple of things to show you. Today, we're going to be talking briefly about a kit and how to cut it out correctly. And then I have a project to show you. This really fun bin. It's a revamp of a tutorial that I have on YouTube from ages ago. And I wanted to show you a couple of different versions. And then I'll walk you through the one I think is the best. My watch. Hi Tamara. Let me know how you guys are doing. Hi Melanie. Where are you? Hi Loretta from Florida. Pamela's tuning in from Florida. Awesome. So many people in Florida. Rochelle in Virginia, and Lena in Indiana. So good to see everyone. Hi Jenny. Awesome. Oh, hi Debbie. So let's get into this. First, I want to show you this kit. Oh, and I should grab my sample bag here. This is Noodlehead's crescent tote, and I had a kit for this, I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 months ago. But this is a new version. This is a quilting cotton on the front, and we use a fusible fleece as interfacing. And then we have Ruby Star speckled inside, and it is a perfect match. The black cotton webbing makes a really comfortable handle, and the black with bronze zippers for the pockets are just perfect. Now, this kit will go live after I send out my VIP email. So if you're not in the VIP club, it's a membership that lasts an entire year from the point that you sign up. So if you signed up last year in June, you're good until this coming June, in other words. And I always send out VIP emails first on a Friday so that you have first dibs for kits and new products and everything else. Now, ding, I don't know how to silence it. Thank you. So that email will go out tonight with this link, and then Sunday morning in my weekly email, everyone else will have a chance if there's any left. So here is this. What I did want to show you on the overhead camera, though, is how to cut this out. So if you notice, this is sort of like a stripe, a leopard stripe. And if you want this to more or less match up, I don't know if it super duper matters, but if you want it to match up, I've got a trick for you. So I'm going to go overhead and show you this. All right, so I'm not going to show too much either. In the kit, you will get the pattern. If you already have the pattern, there's an option to buy the kit without the pattern. But what I want to show you is this front panel. It says cut 4. Now what you'll do to have your stripes match up on the front is you're going to cut this on the fold instead of 2 separate pieces that then you have to sew together, okay? So cut the front on the fold, and after you do that, it will be a little bit bigger than it should be. So you'll need to go back in and make sure that the edges, it's exactly the right size. Does that make sense? No, I don't think so, because I don't want to show her pattern too much. So that is the only change. It is super simple. I did it on the fly without really thinking too much about it and made this tote in less, maybe it took me an hour. It doesn't take long, but I mean, I do so fast. Amy's giving me crazy eyes. Maybe it'll take you 2 hours, but I do everything fast.
It took me like 4 hours.
It took you 4 hours?
Yeah.
What?
Because I'm super slow.
Well, I wouldn't say you're super slow.
Yeah.
Anywho, everything is in this kit. Fusible fleece, both fabrics, zipper, pattern, SF101, just all of it's there. Did you see that? Somebody else doesn't know how to silence their Apple Watch either. Thank you. Sometimes I feel so dumb.
You're not dumb.
Or just technologically behind or something. I don't know. You know, it's funny because it did, loving to get to watch before work, yay! Does that hour include cutting? Good question, Melanie. Probably not. I don't know. Probably not. I probably cut it and then stopped and cooked dinner or something and then sewed it, I'm sure. Yeah, don't rush. It's never a competition on who gets done first because you don't want to make mistakes. I just naturally tend to sew really fast. I don't know what that is about. It's who I am.
But you were also on the phone while you were doing it, and
I was
like
on the
had
phone
no
with you.
trouble following the
You're right.
instructions.
Actually, I was talking to Amy on the phone the entire time, and it was an hour and 10 minutes.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it was pre-cut. Okay, are you guys ready to do this bin? Maybe I should mention some restocks real quick before we get into it. Thank you, Jacqueline. I'm feeling super New York today, especially when I put on my glasses. Okay? But then I can't see the screen very well because these are my readers. Real quick, we did a restock yesterday. A bunch of things came in, so I wanted to mention the Sarah Hart's labels. If you have been waiting on them, most designs are restocked, including Made Under Moonlight. Also, we did restock. Ramel put these links in. If you're on YouTube, you'll see them really easily. We restocked the H2O To Go sling and the Purse Pal. And we also have Mini Diva wallet patterns now with the frames. And this is the size. This was made by my mom, and she didn't put the zipper pocket here. So just know there is a zipper pocket kind of sideways here. But this is a cork version, and it's just super cute. It's a really small, for maybe you're going shopping at the mall and you don't want your big bag. This would fit into a really small bag easily. So we have these up, and we are restocking the regular size Diva kits very soon. They're almost all finished. I'm just waiting on a product to arrive. The thing is, if you're making the regular Diva wallet, I do suggest using foam, because if you're not using vinyl or cork, it's just too flimsy with the fabric only and the interfacing that is written in the pattern. At least for me, it's just too flimsy. And in the frames, there's plenty of room for foam. So there's my little tidbit for today. Okay, let's get going doing this project. I want to show you the differences. So this one, I used foam, and I haven't gone around to top stitch the very top edge yet, but if you can see this, it's made of foam and it's quite squishy. Okay, a lot of times what I'll do for the top is I put clips all the way around the top and let it sit a couple of hours, and then I'll go back and top stitch. So this is version 1, and I'm going to walk you through version 2. But this, if you want this version with the foam, I have a tutorial on YouTube already for a mini little box. So it's just the same thing. You'll just use the measurements that I'm giving you today. However, this version, I might like it even better. And it is thinner because we're not using foam. And then we do a binding, but we flip it all to the right side so it looks like a facing. Okay, you don't see any binding on the inside. We're just flipping it all out. Okay? Oh yeah, I should mention, somebody talked about shipping?
No, just a question about VIP.
Oh, okay. Do you send us an email when our VIP is about to run out? Yes. Rochelle, my system automatically will give you, it's either 2 or 3 like heads up emails, I call them, because I want to make sure that everyone is well aware several times that the membership is renewing. And if you didn't want to renew, you have 2 or 3 times to opt out, which is fine. What I didn't want to happen, it's very difficult to, well, I don't know if I should say that. It's more difficult to do refunds after the fact. It costs me a lot of money to do a refund. So that's why I give everyone plenty of warning. So yes, it'll be probably 2 weeks ahead of time and a week ahead of time, and then a day or 2 ahead. Yeah.
Another question.
Love your black top. Did you make it? No, I didn't make this, Carla. This I actually bought because I wanted, I feel pretty edgy in it. And it's like a stretchy faux leather. So, and it has like straps like a bra, so it's adjustable. I really love it. Feel pretty motorcycle. What else do we have? Good morning. Oh, I know what I wanted to remind you guys of. We just got back from a business trip and we are catching up quickly, but in case your order sat there longer than normal, I posted it on all social medias and in my emails a couple of times that we were on a short shipping break for about 5 days. So we're almost all the way caught up now. Today, I believe we'll be caught up, I think, and back to normal. So thank you for your patience and kindness. Much appreciated. We aren't, we're doing the best we can, and we're here all the time. We will be open tomorrow. So if you're local and you want to come see us, please do. All right, let's get into this tutorial, eh? First up, I'm going to be using Orange Moonglow vinyl. I'm not going to interface it just yet. I'm going to show you why. I'm also using Christy Leah's, I think it's called Rainbow Legend? Oh, Legend Rainbow, yeah. I love this. This was on the back of our Stitch Happens quilt, if you did that and bought the kit, which we do have some more kits available. Woo-hoo. And then we're going to do Steam-A-Seam. This is Steam-A-Seam 2. It's a double-sided tacky fusible. And I'll take you overhead and show you what it does for us. Not only does it give us extra body so that this basket or bin stands up, but it makes it so you don't have to make 2 separate baskets and then sew them together. Okay, so we're just going to fuse it, sew our seams, and we're done. Okay, we'll add binding because the top edge, you want that to be cute, but it's just really easier than you would think. I'm going to grab my iron. Dun, 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 dun. I got out my big Mama Gemma Oliso for this one so that it's faster. You can use your mini if you have a mini, it doesn't matter. And as always, I'll get probably 30 concerned emails about ironing the back side of my vinyl. Don't worry, it's fine. It's totally fine. I say it all the time, but people don't remember. I'm going to iron it now. So you can see I'm ironing the back side of my vinyl. Do you like my tunes? Okay. So let's put on the Steam-A-Seam first. It comes with directions if you need that. Don't worry, we do have this in the shop, by the way. We have sheets, and pretty soon I'll list bigger chunks of it, but I always peel off one side, okay? And then put that tacky side down on your fabric. The grid is for applique work. I just kind of disregard that right now because I'm not cutting anything out to shape or, this is just super simple. I start in the middle and I kind of press out so that I'm not having any bubbles. Now this will be tacky, so if you have an overhang and it gets on your ironing board or mat, it is tacky and you'll have to clean that off later. Or just cut it, get it on there straight in the first place. Let's do this side. I'm going to overlap these a tiny smidge so there's no break. This doesn't take too long, but what you don't want to do is not fuse it well enough, and then it will be too tacky. So this doesn't gum up in your sewing machine needle at all if you fused it all the way. And you'll know when you go to try and peel this paper up, see, I can see it down here, it's adhered really well. If this was pulling up and I was seeing all this stringy stuff, that means it's not fused all the way and you need to take your iron back over, because that will be gummy on your needle if you don't get it in there enough. Ramel, check on the kiddo.
She's okay.
Okay, good. I see text and I freak out. Oh, did I not see? I didn't take off the paper. See, I got distracted. I blame the child. Let me
Let me know if you want me to zoom in.
I don't think we need to zoom in just yet. I'm going to take this piece of paper off.
You do have a question.
Oh, let me know if I have a question.
There is.
Are you getting any more of that rainbow fabric? It's listed. Claudia, it's listed and ready to go. Did you put that link in there, Ramel?
I did.
It is a wide back. So, if you're only getting enough for this little project, you just need half a yard. Love that orange moon glow. I do not have that color yet. Yeah, it's super vibrant, cheerful. I love it. So now I'm going to take you overhead again and start to peel this off. Here we go. So you just kind of lift it there. Yep, looks like mine is ready to go. I let it cool for a smidge, but as you can see, it doesn't take long. See now that edge, see how that's pulling? That edge is not down good enough. So you might want to bring in a pressing cloth if you have an edge like that. Try not to touch your iron to this stuff because it'll mess up that plate, and then you'll have to either get Crisco or Wesson out, or Amy's looking at me like, oh my God. What's the product you use, Amy?
Avoidance of sticky things.
Oh. I think one is called Rowenta, I don't know, gummy reducer or something. I don't know what it's
I also
called.
just iron over like wax paper.
Oh, nice. You just lay a layer of wax paper down? Mm-hmm. Perfect. That would be good too.
On a piece of like, you don't want to get wax on your ironing board, but
Right.
So, but yeah.
Maybe just put a big old scrap piece of fabric down, some clearance fabric you
Paper
bought
or something. Yep.
that you thought you needed and then never used. Okay, I'm going to peel this up. And then we're going to lay this directly on our vinyl, on the back side, on the wrong side of the vinyl. You want to more or less get your placement pretty good. It's not, cemented in stone or anything. If you had to move it, you could.
Don't you want to show it on top?
Well, okay, Ramel. Here we go. Peeling
Nice.
all that off. So now what I think is easiest is to just set my vinyl down. I'm going to show you what I do. I just I get that first edge and smush it, and then down here, see how some of that grabbed and it wasn't right. So I'm going to pat it out. There. Now it's grabbing. What?
You just almost burnt yourself.
I did? I got something on this fabric here, Amy. Okay, so now I'm going to press this on. That is so, what is that? Maybe it's
Adhesive?
a leprechaunacle. I can't have that in my bin.
We'll fix it after the fact.
Okay. All right, so let's get this smushed on. It's grabbing really easily.
You're ironing on the wrong side of the vinyl?
Yep, so here's the right side. The steam seam is in the middle, and this is the other side. Yay. Yeah, so that's all it took. This is stuck together now. I didn't have to use liquid starch or water or anything. This is a hot, dry iron. So now I'm going to move my ironing materials and bring up my cutting board, because now all we're going to do is cut out our boxed corners. Now, if you didn't catch it before, our fabric and vinyl is 18 by 18. Maybe I didn't even say it. 18 by 18. Our boxed corners are 5 inches. Okay? Can you make TGE? What is that?
I don't know, but you do have a question.
All right, can you make the Lola pouch with jelly vinyl? You can do whatever you want. The Lola bag from Swoon? Yeah, you could do that with vinyl. You'll have some raw edges along the zipper, but I don't think it's a problem.
You have another question.
Any plans to get a deep purple? Plans are there, Donna. It just hasn't happened yet. We're working on dye lots. It's funny because everyone thinks there's one Pantone, and there's not. There's Pantone C and there's Pantone U, and I've run into some issues. So I'll say, yes, working on it. Now I'm going to take you overhead.
You do have another question.
Okay, bring it. Hey, Carolyn.
Hold on,
You could
hold
use
on.
that fabric. Yeah, exactly.
That one.
Does that add as much structure as SF101? It adds more. SF101 is probably the thinnest interfacing I use, unless we're talking about garments. But this adds a little bit more, I would say. A little bit more. Yeah, I love purple too. Okay, let's get cracking on this. So, you can use your acrylic ruler, or if you're like me and already made one, once you cut out one corner, you'll have a template. Just make sure it is 5 by 5 inches. And then I'm going to use my rotary cutter. If you're not confident with rotary cutter, draw this and then use your scissors, okay? There's no shame in that game at all. Do what works for you best. And for a long time for me, it was scissors, and I still use scissors when I'm doing bag boxed corners because it's a much smaller area. What you don't want to do, see, like that one is too small, that little nugget, so I'm going to bring in my small scissors because if I try to do that little smidge with a rotary, it's going to go too far. There, 2 corners done, 2 to go. You'll be knocking these out like hotcakes, I tell you. I usually get an email or 2 or 3 about, can I sell these in craft shows? Yes, whatever you make you can sell. It's like, you don't have to ask anyone's permission. You make it, then you do you. You can sell it. All right, there's our 4 corners. Save these. We'll have a project coming up with your leftovers. Who likes leftovers anyways?
Me.
You like leftovers? I only like certain things for
Bonus
leftovers.
meal.
I'm going to turn it over so I'm looking at the orange. Looks like a cute X, a chubby X. I'm going to bring it up, right sides together, and I'm going to put clips here, but listen up. This is not what we're sewing because your brain will want to sew that edge. But that's not what we're sewing. We're just holding the X together for a minute. We're going to sew this edge and this edge. All right, let's go to the sewing machine. I'm going to bring it in here. I'm just using my foot as the seam allowance, and I have a Gutermann thread, poly all-purpose thread, and I am using roughly a 3 millimeter stitch length, all right? I have a universal chrome needle in my machine right now. And I am using my Teflon foot, even though I'm not on the vinyl right now. The Teflon foot is easy for me to just keep in my machine and use. Now, it might be a smidge easier for you to start at the folded edge and sew out to the open edge. I do back stitch a bit. And there, just a bit. You don't want to overdo it with vinyl. Don't want to perforate. Okay. Now we'll remove the clips. And here we go. We're just going to open it. and match these two seams. Now I like to put a clip here and nest those seams to hold it. And then I put clips up here, but we're not sewing that edge. You already know that trick. Like everything to match up. We're going to be sewing this edge and this edge. I'm going to start down here at the fold and sew up. I almost tried sewing because I'm used to that other machine. There's one side. Well, let's do the other side. Now, somebody in here is going to want to bind these edges, and I'll tell you right now, you totally can. It's up to you. If right now you want to bind these edges, go ahead, you do you. But this fabric, because we have that steam-a-seam all the way out to the edge, it will not fray.
Is that a 1/4 inch seam?
It's roughly 1/4 inch. You know, whatever you start with, if you're using your foot's edge as your seam allowance, just carry that on throughout the 4 seams. So right now, this is what our box looks like. I'm going to go ahead and trim some of these threads. I will not be binding the side seams because when the tray is flipped, reversed, I don't really notice it, and because it's not going to fray, it's not going to bother me. But,
You could zigzag them.
yeah, you can
really bugs you.
zigzag, or you could take your pinking shears and trim that too. That'd be cute, kind of zigzaggy pinking shears. Now, if you have, if you used a huge seam allowance, then come in and trim it a smidge.
Is the seam steamed by Pella?
Nope, it's by the Warm Company. I have it in my shop in packages of 6 sheets right now, and I will be listing yardage shortly if you want that. Okay, so let's move on to the last step. We're going to add the binding to the top edge and then fold it right sides out all the way from the crease so that it's like a facing and you have a really cute little bin. So I cut my binding 2 inches, and how long? This one is about 40 inches long. Yeah. And then fold it wrong sides together so you have a folded edge and an open edge. Okay, so let me show you that overhead. This is my binding. It's 2 inches tall. And I'm just folding it, and I already pressed it so it's like this. If you have to piece it like I did, just press that seam open a bit so it's flat. This does not have to be cut on the bias, by the way. I know we a lot of times cut binding on the bias, but that's if you're going around a curve. This does not have to be. So I'm going to sew it to the inside first, and then we're going to flip it. So if you want to, I like to have my short connections way over here in a side seam where hopefully no one will be looking too closely. So I'm going to start to clip it around, but I won't do the whole thing because I find that a little tedious and not necessary. So I'm just going to do this, and then I'll hold it as I'm sewing. So here we are. I'm not going to start right at the tippy edge. I'm going to start about an inch over or so, okay? I have to hold my thread on this machine when I start, or sometimes it'll yank out. You guys know I'm not super crazy about seam allowance. I'm using my foot again, and it's okay. So just ease up on yourself a little bit. You're catching both edges here. When you get to one of these corners, I just smash it to one side. It doesn't have to be open or anything like that. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. If you're stopping, remember to stop with your needle down in the fabric. Otherwise, it can jump. I am not pulling, but it's not loosey-goosey either, if that makes sense. Can you see okay? Let me know if I'm in the way, Ramel.
You're good.
Smashing that corner seam down again.
That's a good idea.
What?
Easter basket.
Yeah, oh yeah. And you know what? You can play with sizing, you guys. Have fun with this. I don't have a mathematical, geometrical formula for you. Just play around. Have fun. Experiment. Give yourself permission to mess up because that's how you learn best. Now, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not even going to do this like a professional quilt way. And I want to show you things will be all right. You can just kind of trim it down. Bring this up to meet like this and fold it over. It's going to be all right. And then I'm going to bring it out and trim. Do you have somewhere to be, Amy?
No.
You keep looking at your watch. And am I taking too long?
No.
Okay.
It's binging and bonging.
Oh, I guess you're important.
I'm sure it's grades coming in.
Oh, grades. So now I'm going to turn that. Well, or do you think I should do this part first? What's your opinion?
I would turn it.
I'm going to turn it. Yeah, that's how I did the other one.
Yeah.
Why not just keep it the
Then
same?
it's already turned and all your clips aren't popping off.
Yeah, I like that idea. This is not hard to turn, if you notice. Oh, maybe I should move this a little. Do. Ruby, my daughter, gave me some feedback that I needed to have lo-fi music playing. Ramel, can you get on that, please? She said real soft, just to keep it interesting. Okay, so this part, this is how it'll look. You'll just see the orange, and then your binding is in here, right? So this is the part where you'll want to get your iron back out, because you're going to flip this up, flip your binding up. I don't know, Ramel, maybe we should zoom in a smidge, do you think? All right. So I'm flipping this up, and you're going to have to kind of smush your thing down here. And then when you fold it over, you're pressing it so that crease is at the top. So see how there's nothing inside showing? You're pressing so that the entire binding is on the outside, okay? Now, I would prefer to have my mini, but I didn't heat it up. So I'll use my Big Mama Oliso. It's fine. Rock and roll. If you feel nervous about this, using the iron, another trick that I've done is just taking the clips, okay? Just put clips in, let this sit for half an hour, all day, whatever floats your boat, and then come back and top stitch this edge down. It will sit better. You could also use your mallet, your whacker, if you purchased one from So Hungry Hippie, because not only does it get out frustration and some aggression, but it will hammer that seam down a bit too. Amy's going to grab me a whacker.
Whack.
Whack it good. Oh, I'm out of the screen. I'm telling you, look at that.
Yeah,
It's
that's
crisp.
really good.
I'm sorry if I shouted, but I was really excited because it really does work. And every time I bring out a tool, I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I have that in my shop, because it really works. Hello.
I guess I need one.
I guess I need 42. Yeah, you do. Amy, you don't have one yet?
I don't have one.
That is a travesty.
Well, I guess I'll solve that problem right now.
Yeah, you will.
Walk out of here.
I'm going to write my name on that one.
In Sharpie?
Yep.
Pickle and pickle Sharpie.
Pickle Sharpie.
All right, last little section here. Look at that, you guys. See how fast this can be if you want it to be? Or if you want it to go slow as molasses in winter, that's okay too, because you gotta go at your own pace.
Let me zoom out.
Yeah, probably. As I drop all the wonder clips. Okay, so there we are. Let me go back over here. See how it has really cute form already, and I don't even have this top stitched yet. So I will top stitch, and then, extra credit, you can come in here with your index finger and make that seam really crisp, and you can hammer it. The nylon mallet doesn't make those crescent moon marks like a regular hammer will. Don't ask me how I know that. Yeah, I went down to the toolbox one day and hammered my bag. So see how it makes it really crisp? You'll just come in here and do that to all four.
All right, I need that.
Seriously, it's
Yeah.
great.
Shoot.
It's an indispensable tool. Amy, what? A craftsman hammer does not a sewing tool make.
Myra Rose.
We dropped an episode yesterday, right?
It was a quickie, yeah.
A little 20-minute-er on the podcast. If you haven't listened, we're Seems Funny Podcast. We think we're hilarious. Why wouldn't you? Just kidding. Cool. Isn't that
Look
good?
at how much, show that one.
It's so much more crisp.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, than the chubby one.
Or even that one that you didn't hammer.
The one I didn't hammer?
Yeah.
Yeah. See how it's just kind of, it's like meh. And this one's like, sharp. I'm dressed for the day. So let me do a little top stitch quick, and then we're done. And I believe, do we have any, I was going to say March Madness news. What? Where am I? I don't know. I'm going to take this seam up to a 4. It's my birthday is it next week, Amy, or is it the week after?
I believe it's 10 days.
10 days, so we're going to have some kind of epic showdown.
Ooh.
A hoedown. I mean, this is live. You get what you get. So be it. All right, I'm just going all around. Should I show this with the camera shot?
Yep.
Probably. All right, here we go. Here we go, here we go, here we go now. That's the second time
That is
this
in your
week.
head, big time.
So I just go slowly around this. I'm not pulling. I'm just letting the feed dogs carry this through. I did give it that hammer, so it's quite simple to bring around. You can use a matching blending thread, or you can rock on with a contrast, whatever you want to do. I'm just tucking in my ends there, and I'm going to make it work for now. Looks like I need to clean my iron too. Now, I do have to tell you guys, I use fabric and vinyl that had, problems. So if you see any weird pieces, let me show you this, just so you know it's nothing I did. If you see stuff like this when I'm doing a demo, it's because oftentimes I get materials that have mistakes or markings, and I have to use that up somehow, right? Because I don't want to just throw it in the bin. Oftentimes when I'm doing binding, I kind of have a hand back here, but I'm not pulling. It's just more of a guidance thing. Stop with your needle down anytime you stop. Otherwise, it can skip ahead and lose your space.
Does it not automatically stop with it down on this one?
No, this is a machine that it does not, so I have to hit it with my foot pedal. And I've been very used to the one that does, my Janome, so.
I have one that does that as well, but you
Yeah.
get used to whatever you use the most.
You do get used to whatever you're using. All right, boom, bada bing, bada boom. Oh, I just love it. It's so cute. And it's bright and happy.
Exactly what we need after all this.
All this snow, yeah. Ramel said exactly what we need after all the snow we got yesterday. So there it is. It's got a cute little facing. And there's the inside. So I'm going to put a bunch of trinkets in there.
Oh, you got a question?
Candy.
Candy. Yeah, fill it with candy. Yes. Can you use the vinyl for the binding? I wouldn't, Terry, because unless you have like a Teflon pressing cloth, it could be more tricky. So let me restate that. Yes, you can. You do you. However, it'll be another level up of difficulty, and you'll just need to make sure that when you're pressing it to the outside, you're either using a baking sheet or don't iron press it, just do the hammer. So that could work. I think if I was doing vinyl, I would not do a 2-inch. I would do a 1-inch and flip it. So you won't have double fabric. You'll just have one layer of vinyl as your binding, if that makes sense. So instead of 2 inches by 40, cut 1 inch by 40.
And then don't fold it.
You
Just
would
one layer.
you would sew it to the inside, fold it around, and it's just one layer. Yeah. So there would be a raw edge here. It wouldn't bother me because you're going to sew so close to that edge. But, you know, to each their own, I guess. Yeah? Did you have another question out there that I missed?
No. You have this one.
Yes. With a Teflon foot. Yes, I would use a Teflon foot if you're doing binding as your vinyl as your binding. As you can see, I sew with my Teflon foot a lot. Like most of the time. I don't bother to put on my regular foot. I do sew a lot of vinyl. But, oh, Melanie, would this be too difficult if I use Decoville? I think so. Even the Decoville Light,
It's not double-sided.
it's not double-sided, so you're going to have an issue that one side is not going to be sticking. If you use Decoville Light, you would want to do it this way, where you're making 2 baskets and then you sew them almost all the way together, right sides together, and then birth it like a bag. That's what you would want to do. So it'll be a little bit harder, but you can do it. I wouldn't use Decoville Heavy. I think that'll be too hard. It's too hard to birth. Do you want to answer my phone? I'm sorry. Yeah, what else we got, Ramel? Any more questions? Okay, well, that's it. How long did I run? 43. Let's get out of here. You guys have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. All right, thanks for being here. Bye.